Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Hester and welcome to Space Engineers. And as you can see from this glorious shot right here, I am finally, even though this thing only took me about a week, I am finally showing off and releasing to the Steam Workshop the Death Star prototype. Now, before we get too far, I do have to give a little bit of a history lesson for those of you who aren't familiar with the prototype. In the Star Wars Legends books, Jedi Academy series, there was the Maw installation where Tarkin had a bunch of scientists secluded in the Maw cluster, which was basically a cluster of black holes. And basically all they did was design superweapons, which included the Death Star, the whatchamacallit, the World Devastator, the crystal phasing something or another. Basically, it disintegrated metal alloys. It would open little pinholes in a ship's hull, which would cause an explosive decompression, effectively destroying the entire ship with one shot. And it also created the Sun Crusher, but we don't talk about the Sun Crusher on this channel because it's OP as all hell, and I don't like ships that are invincible. As much fun as it is to have one. Anyway, so on to the tour. As you can see, this station is... Oh dear God, how much weight did it gain? Okay, somehow it gained 3 million kilos, but then again, I did... we'll get around to the tour, and I'll show what all I changed. But yes, this thing, as is... Oh, try saying that 3 times fast. It is 1 kilometer in diameter. To be exact, it's 1,002.5 meters. So that way, it's an odd number on all sides, so... You'll see why, and please ignore the fact that the... Okay. Please ignore the fact that right here, I guess rotors aren't, very well liked, even in single player, so that's been going on ever since I installed the Super Laser Dish, or at least the... Whoops. I appear to... Oh. Anyway, so, as you can see here, we are in the crew cabin. And the station appears to be moving... I hate that. Anyway, I do have, oh, what do you call it? Block destruction enabled, so we're going to be testing this thing. Anyway, so, as you can see, though, this is the bridge, or at least the crew cabin. Let me just quickly fly out so you can actually see where it is. It is directly below the Super Laser Dish, which is not exactly what the first and second Death Star had. The overbridge was actually above the super lasers, and yes, this is how well I am able to run at normal speeds while recording. Anyway, so we have, this is the only place on this entire thing that is actually dedicated to the crew. However, there's really, sorry if you hear a train in the background, there's really no place for the crew to actually sleep. Basically, they have to suck it up and, well, to be honest, this wasn't meant for actual combat. This was just a test bed, as I should have alluded to in the beginning of the... when I was doing the history lesson. Basically, they were unsure if the first Death Star, as seen in front of us right here, they were unsure if the super laser would actually work. So, while you can see the limited maneuverability, so they began testing basically the concept and built a prototype that was the same size as the Death Star, but really they just designed the outer ring struts and attached a super laser to it, tested the super laser, found that it worked, and then they proceeded with the first Death Star as planned. Hence the minimalistic design. So, with that said, as you can see though, we do have a bunch of LCD screens, and this one contains the inventory because I do love that mod. Yes, this is using heavy water as the godforsaken thing is moving. Oh, it's moving way too much. Give it a moment. Anyway. But yes, this does utilize cold fusion, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, this is supposed to be the LCD screen that you would look, basically like in Rogue One, where they're looking out the viewports. However, at the moment, there's no script that enables you to view outside. So you're basically going to have to either wait for that feature to be a thing, or maybe install some Windows, although I don't recommend it. Anyway, so closing this, we do have an air vent. I'll show you that system in a... Oop, I forgot to complete that. But we do have a vent, so this is fully pressurized. Or, well, it can be. I just choose it not to be, just because it kind of causes a little bit of lag for me. So I don't usually pressurize my ships when building on such a grand scale. Also, another feature is... Oh, wait. We do have emergency lighting that basically gives a warning, like, hey, we're under attack, followed by... Yeah. God, I love that sound. Anyway, so that takes care of the crew cabin, although let's... Crap. Wait. Anyway, these other screens are meant for anything you guys would want. I mean, you could install another one, or... could you install? Probably. Well, you can at least install one. I wanted to do a second one, which is why you see a second programmable block. Oh, bit of a lag there. Let me close Discord real quick. Anyway... Like, I wanted to put one for energy, but seems like those mods don't work anymore at the moment. Anyway, so flying out, you can see right here, this is the Titan thruster. And, we got 24 of these bad boys right here. Well, not right here, but we have 24 of these on the station. You have 4 here, clusters on all 4 of these sides, and then 4 down there, all the way down there. And I love the placement, but more on that in a moment. So under the crew cabin, as you can see, even though this isn't pressurized, I just did this out of the sheer point that I'm too used to installing this airlock system. But we have the oxygen generator system along with 2 tanks. Basically, one tank is the main storage, while the other one is basically, well, it depressurized the crew cabin, so that's right here, that's all the oxygen for the that'll fit in the crew cabin, and the generator is actually offline. But I kind of like it. Also is the gravity generator, which I have set to a narrow field just because this is the only place that actually needs gravity. Airlocks on both sides just for ease of access, because at least for me, I have the policy, if you're going to fly in, you fly in on the right hand side looking forward. So this is the starboard side, you fly on the right. For those of you living in England, I apologize if that confuses you. Okay, jokes aside, we do have, and this is the same on all 4 sides, I will show you that in a moment, but we have 2 jump drives for a total of 8, which seems like overkill if you ask me, but in Space Engineers, well, come on. Oh dear God, that was 350 last I installed these. Okay, this has gone down. So yeah, 8 may not seem like enough, but as I alluded to, as I start to run out of oxygen, this is an incomplete station. It's by no means supposed to be a weapon of mass destruction like the first Death Star. This was a proof of concept, and I'm proud of it. Also, you do have one of these tier 5 gyros. We have 8 of these on this station. As you saw, it was just barely enough to make it look like it was rotating, basically what you see in the movies. And flying over to my mobile welding ship as I try to get some of that precious oxygen. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. Anywho. So, as you can see on the port hand side, we have the same exact setup, but without the crew cabin. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but the crew cabin is fully made of heavy armor, just because it's kind of exposed, and because this is just a prototype, there's no other crew cabin on board, so if that gets taken out, this station is, well, if its inertia dampeners are on, it's a floating hulk for anyone to take. If they're not, well, better not be flying towards a planet or a black hole. Please tell me you get the reference. Anywho, so, continuing on, I was going to do a bit more detailed work on the superstructure below and above the main reactor, but to be honest, nobody really has a set look of the Death Star prototype other than the cover art for one of the Jedi Academy books, and yeah, I mean, it just didn't seem like a good idea at the time. So, for now, I mean, if you're able to build this, you could more than either that or over time maybe I'll redo some of the struts. But as I said, I built this in survival and I wanted something quick, and I say quick, this took me a week to build. So you can see the time lapse from the playlist in the video description. Now, flying on into the superstructure, or the central core, we're going to fly down as I turn on my lights before I slap into something. And it seems like you're almost there, but you're not. Anyway, so we have, this is mirrored on both sides, but we have 4 large cargo containers because these store ice and uranium ore, but we'll see that why in a minute. And then you have 2 more gyros on the bottom and top. Ooh. I can fix that. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm doing an inspection as well as I'm just showing off the Death Star. Anyway, so that's all that is basically down there. I'll show you an exterior view, and okay. Now, what are you? Oh, is that the light that's getting in? Probably. Anywho, so I'm gonna have to show you a different way in. Or at least I'm gonna have to cut my way through to show you the interior, which, well, this really isn't an interior you want to go in just because of the hypermatter reactor. Whoops. Or in this case, the central power core. Now you're probably asking yourself, I don't think there's enough power right here. Oh, there's more than plenty. Because of the mods that I'm using to make the super laser work, we have these nice, lovely cold fusion reactors. And to get this look, I also included 2 heavy water converters. They take the ice and the uranium ore and turn it into heavy water. And even though right now this station is idling, there's only enough fuel in here for about 4 days, if I remember correctly. And if we go... Oh, whoops. Yeah. That's probably why not all of the reactors have an equal distribution of heavy water. Brilliant. Ow. That's why there's... Okay. Alright. Anyway, so, as I was continuing, one of these will put out 15 gigawatts, but fuel consumption-wise, I think it's perfectly balanced. Plus, I didn't feel like installing 55 large vanilla reactors, just because A, that seemed like overkill, B, I'm already utilizing a mod that you need in order to make the super laser work. Not sure why that's there, but it's been removed. Anyway, so I'm quite happy with this layout. As I said, you're not really supposed to be flying in here, so maintenance you don't really have to do unless they enable some sort of upkeep cost where you do have to occasionally throw in the slap on another steel plate or two every X number of minutes, hours, I don't know. I hope they don't, just because I'm building on a grandiose scale. Anyway, so heavy armor. Oh, need to remove that. I'm sure there's more spotlights in here somewhere. Did I just see another hole? Is this how I think that's how I got in. I don't remember. Anyway, so enough about that. Oh yeah, that's definitely how I got in. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, now that that's fully welded up. But yes, now that we're going to get a closer shot of this, as I said before, there are 4 Titan thrusters, one group of clusters, one cluster, geez, English, one cluster is up here, the other is down south, and I am especially proud of this lovely detail that I did with trying to make this look like it was actually supposed to go like this. Just a little bit, even though you look at the... Don't read too much into this. And flying all the way to the top, as you can see, we have connector... Well, a connector at the top and bottom. Hold on. Let me... Okay. There. Okay, I need to close something. Okay, sorry about that. I had to close more programs. Anyway. So, yes. All in all, I am quite proud of this project. Yes, it consumed about, a lot of steel. Well, more like iron, but a lot of steel plates. And, oh yes, I believe you're waiting for me to fire. Oh, forget to remove you. Yeah, I'm sure there's another solar panel on here somewhere on the sides that I had to use to keep my welders from grinding the station. The nanobot build thingy. Anywho, so. Oh, I never did show you the super laser, or at least how it fires, but let's at least just do a little... Oh, whoops. Pretty sure I just enabled... Anyway, so. Test firing in 3, 2, 1. Alright. Test firing in 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Oh boy. Oh, but then again, I do have a backup. Let's say we fire. Oh dear. Oh dear, there's a deer in our pool. Whoa, I'm getting... really need to fix that. Anywho, so, yes, the super laser. Alright, now that that's done. So, this super laser dish is smaller than the one that you'll see on the first Death Star, just because, again, this is the prototype. As you saw this... Oh, I forgot to turn that off. Well, perfect. way to demonstrate this. But as you can see, there are 4 tributary beams, again, because this is the prototype. It really wasn't meant to... It was more of a test bed, so we've never actually seen the super laser for the prototype, so I figured 4 is enough. I mean, it's not supposed to destroy entire planets. I mean, it was able to destroy larger moons, but not full-grown planets. And yes, more rotors, and I am utilizing the GTF small beam turret, as you can see here. This will be the same on the first Death Star over yonder way. And that mod is the enabler of the cold fusion reactors. So you're getting 2 for the price of 1, just because, well, they kind of want you to power these things, and they do, when set to full power and max range, they will consume a lot of energy. Now I need a... excellent. Yes, here we go. Because this is not... The idle movement is set to off just so that way it doesn't move around. It just shoots forward, hence why it's on rotors. And... Ooh. Yeah, you can fiddle with that yourself if you want, if you're able to get this. But yeah, this is just the beam turret. So there are other mods, or there are other whatchamacallits, lasers in the mod pack that I haven't actually tested, but they work very well. Anyway, so here's the main super laser, and if we just grind that, here you will find the spinal laser. This is the main beam, and I cannot thank Craig enough for coming up with this brilliant piece of equipment, because the reason why you see my second Death Star is because I started to build that while looking for a super laser, well, a laser mod that would enable my super lasers to actually function. Hence why this is so, well progressed, despite being 2 kilometers in diameter. And yes, it is also being built in survival. Anywho, so with the super laser camera enabled, I say it's time to show the full power of this fully operational battle station. Okay, why is it... Oh, that's the one. Okay. I love how there's a sort of crosshairs look. You may fire when ready. Okay, one more. Well, we just disabled the super laser power coupling. You know what? Let's cut it in half. Yes, I know I'm a madman. Whoop. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh, looks like we need to go for another pass. Come on. Oh, just get cut in half. Damn it. Oh, come on. Oh, that looks awesome. Come on. Okay, I can see it's ready to go. Oh. Bit of a lag spike. Yep. We've cut it in half. Wow. We cut that bit off. So yes, this is a fully working station. I'm proud of this. Okay, let's turn those off. So with that said, fortunately this is not an this is a backup save, or I have a backup save, I should say. Oh, I gotta inspect the damage.
Your health
Ow.
is low.
Oh, it's glorious. Surprised that's not moving. This is a ship. Oh well. Anyhow, so yes. Down below in the video description, you will find a link to the Steam Workshop to where you can get this and the other projects that I have done. I am going to do a bit of a fly around, and I'm going to actually find anything missing or things like extra solar panels that need to be removed. That way it's not on the final build. But, oh, whoops. I'm a bit hesitant to put, screw it, I'll put a door. That way you can access the main reactor. I don't really want to, but I feel as though people need to access the main reactor for some reason. Oh, also, I forgot to show you this, though. The super laser is locked down by landing gear right there. Where's the other one? I forget which side. And right here. So it's not going to move, or at least it shouldn't, so long as nobody shoots the support struts. Anyway, as I was saying, down below in the video description will be a link to the Steam Workshop to where you can get this and my other projects. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Ignore the crosshairs on my face. Uh-oh. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Is there something wrong with me?
Reinforcements on.
Actually, don't answer that. I'll just say ready for action.
Upgrade in progress.
You've let unidentified.
No! What the fuck?! This is my own planet!